Good morning. Today I will present you the midterm briefing of the Coral Reef Sustainability Through Innovation Act of 2017. I would like to thank my team members and our managers, Lenny Annan, and our faculty advisor, Adrian Hill, for her advice. This is our agenda for today. We're going to start with what we did last semester, that was the problem behind what is affecting the coral reef, the actual bill, and then the program design and rationale that we worked in this semester. So the problem. Scientists expect that by 2030, 90% of the coral reef will be somewhat threatened because of different anthropogenic effects, and especially climate change. We have been emitting fossil fuels, the waters are getting warmer, and it's affecting corals. Also, the ocean acts as a carbon sink, and it becomes more acidic, also affecting coral growth. Other point sources of problems are sedimentation and contamination carried by the runoff of rivers towards the corals, and poor fishery management like bottom trawling and herbivore fishing. All this has created different economic hardships in communities and people that depend on them for their livelihoods. And from those people, 275 million people worldwide depend on coral reef directly or indirectly because of their ecosystem services like fisheries, tourism, or coastal protection. These people are in over 100 countries and territories, and only in Hawaii, for example, coral reef brings to the economy $385 million annually. And this is why Senator Macy Hirono from Hawaii proposed to the Senate the Coral Reef Through Innovation Act of 2017 that amends the Coral Conservation Act of 2000. She was worried that Hawaii is an island state and it can be threatened by their protection in the shorelines, the feeding of their communities, and the local economy that depends on those reefs. So this is the act. The purpose of the act is to promote the innovation of new ideas in order to revert the problems in coral reef, and especially focus on these 5 priorities. The act allows any federal agencies within the Coral Reef Task Force, that I'm going to tell you about in a minute, to award prizes under the guidelines of the Stevenson-Wilder Act of 1980. The primordial prizes that are going to be awarded by the bill it's towards coral reef degradation, alleviating financial hardship of communities, alleviating job loss, supporting vulnerable communities that depend on those coral reefs, and looking for new innovative ideas to implement responsible tourism. So the Coral Reef Task Force, it was created in 1998, and it's a group of state, territorial, commonwealth, and local government that work together with the mission to preserve and conserve coral reef and make sure that different legislations and conservation efforts are actually implemented in the United States. The task force is co-chaired by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, and the Department of Interior. Now that we have seen the bill and the problem regarding coral reef, we're going to talk about the actual program design, and it's important to say that the bill leaves to our discretion the budget that is going to be implemented for the prizes and who within the task force is going to implement the prizes. So that's what we created. We evaluated different feasibility factors from those agencies within the task force. We evaluated their experiences with prize programs, or if they had awarded any prizes before, and we evaluated their expertise and knowledge in coral reef health, coral reef monitoring, and especially on how the degradation of those ecosystems affect the communities. This is the organizing structure that the Coral Reef Task Force have already established. They have 6 active working groups that will work towards different problems regarding coral reef, but none of those groups work towards awarding prizes or making sure that communities benefit from those corals or alleviate any economic hardship that the degradation of corals has created. So this is why we decided to create a new working group called the Innovation Working Group. The Innovation Working Group is going to also be co-chaired by NOAA and the Department of Interior. The Innovation Working Group is going to have the primary objective of promoting the innovation through an annual prize competition. They need to make sure that there is a prize competition annually in order to enhance the visibility of the issue and bring more new innovative ideas to revert these problems. They will prioritize their attention to awarding the prizes. They have different responsibilities, like allocating funds from their annual budgets towards the awarding of prizes, and also evaluating future partnerships with different NGOs in order to promote the prize program and bring more prestige to the prize program. Because they need also to publicize the prize competition in the general media, in their social media, and other types of media. When the guidelines are established, they will need to determine the winners and vote who is gonna take the prize. And now these are the prizes. We created 5 prizes for each of the priorities of the bill, and it's important to say that the person that applies for the prize can win more than one because they relapse with each other. So the prizes are scientific research and monitoring and innovation in order to revert coral reef degradation, alleviating economic hardship, job loss, vulnerable communities, and responsible tourism practices. Lastly, this is our innovation working group structure. Like I said, it's gonna be co-chaired by NOAA and the Department of Interior. NOAA because of their knowledge in scientific research and monitoring of coral reef, and the Department of Interior because they have different agencies that make sure that natural resources are available for those communities that depend on them. Also, under the Department of Interior, there are 5 different agencies that they work towards conserving ecosystems or with communities, and they're gonna be also part of the working group. They are the Fish and Wildlife Service, the Office of Insular Affairs, the National Park Service, Mineral Management Service, and the U.S. Geological Survey. Additionally, we are adding 2 other agencies in our working group, that is the National Science Foundation because of their expertise in awarding grants and prizes, and the Environmental Protection Agency because of their knowledge in environmental issues. After we created this program design, the next step is looking for the resources needed in order to award the prizes, the implementation logistics of the bill and our program design, and other mechanisms in order to be successful with this program design. And thank you. Any questions?